On this edition of the Cult of W.D. Muhammad Exposed, we will cover the cult leader's visit with the Pope of Rome. In 1999, cult leader W.D. Muhammad made a very strange trip to Vatican City. This left many ex-cult members asking why. Why would W.D. Muhammad travel all the way to Rome to speak to a group of Catholics for 5 minutes? What would W.D. Muhammad have to gain? The answer can be found at the date. The date was October 1999. This was 4 years after W.D. Muhammad was overshadowed by Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam at the Million Man March. On October 1995, Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam led the Million Man March in Washington, D.C. In fact, W.D. Muhammad was invited to the march, but he declined, claiming that he did not want to be a part of a day of demonstration, and it would be a waste of the people's time. But the Million Man March made Minister Louis Farrakhan an international leader, known and respected all over the world.
I wonder what you'll say tomorrow. I wonder what you'll write in your newspapers and magazines tomorrow. Will you give God the glory? Will you give God the glory? You allow me to speak even though you don't like what I may say. That a work has been done in you today, unlike any work that's ever been done in this great city. That's right. Will you respect the beauty of this day? All of these black men that the world sees as savage, maniacal, and bestial, look at them. A sea of peace, a sea of tranquility, a sea of men ready to come back to God, settle their differences, and go back home to turn our communities into decent and safe places to live.
The minister encouraged me as a person who had little or no faith in anything, except, drugs and alcohol, like that, stuff like, that was the only kind of faith, I used to make, but during that time even, he could reach me, and he could encourage and inspire me. And so that's what he has that makes him special.
Minister Farrakhan is a direct reflection of how race is seen in America. And the people that see us differently see him differently.
He's a great man. I think misunderstood in a lot of ways, but I think he's a great, great man. And I'm glad that he's been able to endure.
And despite the outer perimeters of controversy that attached to Minister Farrakhan, I think black people always understood that this was a man who loved black people, who engaged black people where they lived. And long before rap singers were talking about keeping it real, Minister Farrakhan was speaking truth to power.
Average people follow a path. Leaders of significance, they carve a trail, but there was no path. To that extent, Minister's a trailblazer.
After failing to outdo the Million Man March, cult leader W.D. Muhammad accepted Minister Louis Farrakhan's invitation to join the Nation of Islam for their February the 26th, 2000 Savior's Day celebration. This would mark the first Savior's Day in 25 years for the W.D. Muhammad community. W.D. Muhammad was so impressed by the 2000 Savior's Day address, he reinstalled Savior's Day for his community.